Hello everyone, I'm Marina and it's Sakramel School. We can't always do a gel coating on trapezoidal nails, since then they will seem even wider. And using paper forms would be a perfect option for this case. Here's a step-by-step tutorial. Let's get into it. Here are today's nails. They seem normal at first, but if we take a closer look, you will see wide free edges. We could do a gel coating here. It would have fixed this a little bit, but an extension will do way better. I also recommend doing narrow shapes like oval or almond. Now let's do a nail prep. I clip off the free edge and file it. Keeping it will prevent us from setting up a form. It will lift up. And that's our only chance to fix the growth pattern and even the nail width. Nail extension with paper forms is a universal technique. We can use it on any client. Whether they've got up or down growing nails, or even wide nails all bumpy and so on. It's not something we can fix with dual forms or gel tips. Technically, we can use them, but then our final look will be far from perfect, unlike the result of using paper forms. So a nail technician should ace both paper and dual form techniques, as well as gel tips. Moving on to the manicure. Since these nails are sweating, I use some talcum powder to prevent the drill bit from getting clogged. There are brown dots on the cuticle, the traces of torn hangnails. And when they are healing, they turn brown. So there are no open wounds and we can go over this area. But still do it carefully. There's not too much cuticle going on, but lots of pterygium. So we can cut the cuticle now or keep it till the end. To cut it off after sculpting. That's actually a perfect tip for beginners, since it's easy to cut the skin with a file. Now, since these nails are sweating, we can use some dehydrator to dry them up. And of course, a primer for better bonding. So this nail type requires a thorough nail prep. Now I do a thin layer of a rubber base coat. It's plastic, so it will strengthen the nails. Avoid pulling at this point. The brush shouldn't touch the skin. Otherwise, the next layer will pull too, over the first one, and the coating will lift up. Now let's prepare the forms. First things first, I remove the central piece. Apply it to the nail, and if there's a gap between the nail and the form, we just need to cut it out deeper. I also make cuts in the ingrows points to press the form well around the nail. I know many of you think that this part is too complex. It's something out of this world for you. But I'm sure if you practice more, you will nail it. No pun intended. There's a video on dual forms versus paper forms on my channel. And there I set up a timer to compare the techniques. And you know what? Paper forms took less to handle, since I knew the ropes. So keep practicing on yourself, your friends, or even your husbands, since sculpting is not necessary here, just the cutout part. Sure, there are many nuances. For example, how deep the cuts and the ears should be, or should we lift up the form or tilt it down? So I recommend you take a course in nail sculpting. I've got one, and it's also available online. Today I will go without filing. I start with the underlays. Note that I do them with precision, with no bumps or layers. And don't lay out squares if you plan to shape almonds. And avoid pulling. Now send it to cure for 30 to 40 seconds, depending on your gel. You can always check the curing time on the bottle. Now wipe off the tacky residue and file the shape. Be careful. Try not to ruin these fragile tips, so as not to build them up again. There are more techniques that require no filing. In our course, we take a look at 3 of them, and it's one of those techniques, when we file the tip and then sculpt it. Now we should cover up the nail with gel, leaving a tiny gap near the cuticle. Note that the gel should not get over the base coat edges, otherwise it will peel off. I pull it down and spread. The coating should be thin near the cuticle. Now we can turn the nail over and help it with a thin brush. The nail is trapezoidal, so it's narrow from the top and wide from the bottom. And if we did a square shape here, the nails would have looked curved and bulky. But we always guide by our client's preferences, nail condition, and a sculpting type. And at this point, we can touch up all the tiny flaws with a file, without filing the entire nail. Though I prefer filing the nails for more definition. Moving on to nail art. I've got a new product today. This is my first time working with reflective glitter, both fine and bigger fragments. I lay out this glitter on top of some base coat and make sure it does not stick out. Otherwise, the client will feel it. Now I send it to cure, and then I gently polish it using my finest buffer to smooth out sticking out glitter. Next up, I do a top coat. Since there is glitter, I slightly align the surface with a medium layer. That's exactly why I did a thin layer of gel. Now I turn the nail over, and here is a life hack. Cure it with a UV flashlight first, to avoid pooling. Here is the final look. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And if you want to do a quick nail extension, then go for gel tips. There is a video on my channel on 15 mistakes of gel tips, so check it out too. And I wish you all the best. Good luck. Bye-bye.